First of all, I would like to pay my highest respect to His Excellency, Vice President of International University, Teacher Kan Chan-Thien, Head of Department of English, the jury, the judge, the university higher-ups, professors, and all of you lovely people that are attending here today. My name is Kem Ratito. I'm a student of the Faculty of Pediatrics and Medicines, and it is an incredible honor for me to be here again today to do another speech. Now, last time that I was here, I talked about something that was opinion-based, and you could even consider somewhat controversial. But today, I'm only here to present to you facts. So, what will I be talking about today? So, today I will be talking about understanding autism, which is the most misunderstood condition in our human society. So, I've been seeing a lot of stigma toward autism. Most of them split my speech into three main parts. The first is an in-depth explanation of what autism is to clear everything out. The second is the stigma toward autism in our society. And the third is what can we do to help people with autism. So as promised, I will get on to my first main part of my speech is an in-depth explanation of what autism is. Well, autism as a concept, it's not as straightforward as you think. It's not simply about being normal or being autistic. It is not a linear graph where you can draw a line and say, oh, anyone is behind is autistic and anyone is in front is normal. It's not like that. It's more of a circle that encompasses a lot of characteristics and uniqueness. And these circles could overlap each other to create a more complex condition. For example, a person with a high information processing power could be unable to communicate their feeling properly. Let me tell you a personal story of mine. I have a high school friend that is diagnosed with autism. So in terms of processing information, this guy, in definition of what normal people consider a genius, his determination to focus is unmatched and his studying prowess is unparalleled. He is a genius, but he is able to pick up social cues. So one time I was at a bookstore and I was asking the seller how much this book was, and he came up to me and in front of the seller he said, "Yo bro, why are you buying this book? We could just pirate it and steal it online." Yeah, it got really awkward for me. And these type of occurrences keep happening throughout the years of our friendship. And no matter how much I explain to him, like what social cue is, he doesn't seem to get it. And no matter how hard I try, he never gets it. But his experience has taught me a lot. It has taught me to be patient. It has taught me empathy. It has taught me to be more accepting and understanding of people with autism. So, usually, there are two main factors that people often associate autism with. That is sensory and information processing. But that is the biggest misconception about autism and biggest misunderstanding for two things. First, when people say information and sensory processing, they usually refer to the lack of information and sensory processing. They think it is as a mental disability. But the opposite could also be true. A person who you would consider gifted, for example, photographic memories, could also be on the opposite side of the autism spectrum. And the second is, it's not just sensory and information processing. It could be other factors. And so what are those factors? Well, I did some research, and I based my research on the Autism Institution research based in San Diego, California, United States. And based on that research, I conclude that there are five main factors of where a person lies on the autism spectrum. So the first is obviously information processing, the capability or incapability of a person to receive and process information. But again, this is what people usually associate autism with, and usually people think it's lack of processing information. But the same could also be true. A person with a high information processing power could also be on the opposite side of the autism spectrum. And for the second is sensory sensory processing. This is the second thing that usually people also associated with autism. For example, if a child feel numbness to emotion like happiness, we could say that that child lacked the emotion to feel stimuli. But the opposite could also be true, where a child feels anxiety or depression for no reason. That is because the child is sensory overload, where normal feeling for us, the child experiences it much more intense. And from this point, I will talk about things that people don't usually associate with autism, but it's still in here. So number 3 is motor skill. The capability or incapability of a person to execute tasks that require coordination. So according to the same institution that I referenced earlier, 30% of children that are diagnosed with autism lack motor skill. What do I mean by this? So think of it this way. It is the mean to balance themselves. And why is balancing important? So for example, it's easiest for us to balance ourselves. But for children with motor skill that are considered autism, it is hard for them to run, to catch a ball, to write neatly. But why is that important for daily life? Well, in severe case, it could affect our day-to-day life, like unable to walk without tripping themselves, or being able to execute normal daily tasks like tying your shoes, or putting on clothes, or simple tasks like turning off the light could be hard for them. So, number 4, communication skill. Have you heard of the word introvert? I'm sure you have. So, communication is the capability or incapability of a person to feel and interact with other people. So, a person that interact with other people. So, an introvert, why are they introverts? They are introverts because they are scared of people, they are afraid of expressing themselves, or they like self-isolation. These are all symptoms of communication autism. And for number 5 is repetitive behavior, the capability or incapability of self-control. What I mean by this is when a person has a condition like repetitive behavior, like being too obsessed with something, or indecisiveness that cannot make themselves control themselves or make them unsure of what they are doing. For example, condition like OCD, where a person wants everything to be neatly, or double checking the stove to make sure it's closed, but checking it again because they're unsure. Conditions like these are what we think about when we think of repetitive behavior. So understanding this unique condition make us understand autism better and help support people that has autism. So on to the second main part of my speech is the stigma toward autism in our society. So again, the stigma toward autism in our society is very negative. I've been insulted with calling autistic. And whether that's true or not is not important. But think about it. It is so negative that we use it as an insult. We call people autistic as an insult. And it's just unfair to dismiss people with actual autism that has talent, that has ability, that's just been dismissed because people associate it with something negative. So we should better ourselves by understanding what autism really is, which ties into my third point, which is how can we help people that has autism? Well, again, it's not just one singular condition, it's a spectrum, so there's no one size fit all that we can help, but there are general things to do that we can do to help people with autism. So first is diagnosing early on. If a child could be diagnosed with autism that need help, we could implement help for them or support them emotionally, making sure they grow up to be a healthy adult. And second is emotional support. Do not discriminate against people who has autism. It's not nice. Be kind, be supportive. They need help. And the third is educating yourself and educating others about autism. The more people that are educated on autism, the less it is of an anomaly. And with all things said, it is important that we feel patient, we feel empathy, we are more accepting and understanding toward people with autism. In conclusion, autism is a spectrum, and it is important for us to understand and help people with autism. Thank you.
of all, I would like to pay my high respect to His Excellency's Baron, the Vice President, the Head Department of English Department, judges, audience, and MCs, and good afternoon. A sensitive and misunderstood topic and underrated topic as well, which is postpartum. So most of you right here, right now, may not know who I am and which topic I talk from first round, which is abortions. So abortion is also a sensitive topic which leads to a postpartum. Why? I remember I told a story of a friend of mine who committed suicide due to people who did not support her choice on abortion. So I'm here to continue that story. Her name is Maria. She's a Filipino and she killed herself. But I'm here not to talk about those parts. I'm here to talk about another episode of What If. What if she didn't die? What if she is here to support me? What if she gave birth to her child and named him Joe or Gojo? So as you can see, the baby right here is not my son. I predicted as my friend's son, and his name is Gojo, and his mama name is Maria. So, Gojo, can you introduce yourself? Hello. Alright, so Gojo would love to share with you another what if episode, like what if his mama didn't die. So, what it has to do with my topic today, which is postpartum. As you may not know what postpartum is, I would love to give you a brief definition of what postpartum really is. Postpartum is a period, like after you gave birth, from 6 to 8 weeks, you get into this period. Every woman who, after they gave birth, you also experience postpartum. So, about one thing I would like to add in this topic right now, I will talk into two parts. The first one is postpartum period. The second part is postpartum depressions. So let us talk to postpartum period. Postpartum period is, like I said, is a small period after you gave birth, you experience it. So those are the causes. So secondly, I would love to talk about the treatment right here.